The Secret History by Donna Tartt is a book I read last year, and the 25 odd books I read last year, it was the best. Soon after reading that, I read the Little Friend, and I thought it was bad. I had intended to read The Goldfinch, by Donna Tartt this year, and I just finished reading it like about a week or 10 days back. And where do I begin? Let's talk about her writing, for example. I don't think there are many authors, who know the English language the way Donna Tartt does. And her words have some serious impact on the reader. And having said that, I feel she knows her description of love and nostalgia is very fine. If you have read Sense of an Ending by Julian Barnes, believe me when I say this has a similar chemistry of words and a mixture of nostalgia and a real spark of intelligence which the central character has. And above all, it is patient, and the slow build up of characters will really strike home. And for me especially, while reading this book, despite its mammoth size, I somehow was very glad that it's big, and I took a comfortable refuge in its words and thoughts and feelings. And somehow I was able to relate to the book at a very intrinsic level, and that was both fascinating as well as being heartbreaking. As a reader, I felt there were various emotions I went through while reading this book. I felt a sense of pity, empathy, and towards the central character. However, that soon transforms into a sense of wonder and awe, and sooner or later the character becomes your family friend. And when I was 15% into the book, I just paused on my Kindle to see how far along I have come. And when I read I'm just 15% into the book, and already it has given and taken away so much of emotions. I felt like, oh my god, what could possibly happen in the remaining 85%? And man, oh man, I just don't know how to describe it for you guys, but I'll simply say that it begins with the character missing his mom. The character is then taken to a different place in a setting where he is living in somebody else's house, his best friend or his friend's house, and he is dealing with being an orphan who's now living in somebody else's house, and dealing with the various emotions of people coming to empathize and sympathize, and people in school, all the adults being extra nice to him, saying, "Hey Theo, are you okay? Are you okay, son? You must read, you must make a journal, you must do this." And later he also says something like, "The kids were nicer to me than the adults because the kids were real. They didn't show any emotions like that. Some of them just maintained a respectful distance from him because they felt maybe misery will attach company." That was... And moving on to his life as a teenager, and him meeting one of his friends, and then being in a completely different home in Las Vegas, and the description of Las Vegas, the description of New York, and then New York again, where I have lived. it really resonates with a sense of impending loneliness. And there's an ocean of loneliness which the author deals with masterfully. She's very crafty. Also, the fact that through it all, you're reading his journey, and it's not like she's dedicating a page or two to an emotion. The author will go out of her way and describe for you in 20 pages what the character is feeling. And to deny all that and to try to shirk it all off, it's really, really impossible. Because before you know it, you will be so invested into the book. At least I was. And then the author shows the character, at a certain age, fast forwards, then comes back. Throughout it all, you are just left absolutely bamboozled, absolutely gutted, absolutely ruined, conquered, tethered to the cause of the central character. You see, The Goldfinch is a book like no other. And I don't know how she wove this emotional fabric in me and in her book. I wanted to write so many things about the book. I wanted to say so many things in my review for it. And I wanted to say so much that I let 10 days pass. Because it's very important to do a faithful, honest, sincere review of this book so that others who have not read it and others like me who have read it have their share. Let it be said that this is the best book I have ever read in my life. It absolutely breaks away from the shackles of what a limited experience has been in so far and completely sets a new unprecedented height of wonder. You have you start with sympathy, empathy, pity, sadness, grief, remorse. No remorse. You have a sense of rekindling, of rising from a place of absolute vacuum. You then go ahead and have a sense of adventure with drugs and alcohol, which is you won't see coming. It'll hit you like a wall. Hit me like a wall. And through it all, I felt so grateful to fate to introduce me to this book. Now, I don't know about other people, but I relate to Donna Tartt's sense of mystique. I relate to her hidden, messages. I related to it at a very intrinsic level because I know exactly what she's talking about, because I am that person who understands pop culture art that well. And let it be said that there is nothing more contagious than the sense of coincidence. It arose in me because I knew every single little morsel of information that she gave me. If I read this 12 years back, I would have loved it, but I wouldn't have known half the things she's talking about. If I would have read it 10 years from now, I would have told myself, fuck, I wish I read this book in my earlier life. But to me, I trust the timing of the book and when it came to me, and I think it is perfect. Once again, guys, this was the 24th book I read this year. Easily the best book I've read this year. Easily the best book I have ever read. I don't take that mantle and give it that easily to any book. Of course, I have been searching for a book to topple all the almighties in my list, and this has done it quite fucking well. So The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt is an astounding read of immense proportions, and it has a real zest for life. You could call it lust for life. And you know what I feel like doing? There is a wall behind me which has Scarlett Johansson, A Clockwork Orange, You have Planet of the Apes, Wall-E, and two random modern art figures. I want to place, you know, the Goldfinch book cover right there. Thank you for watching this, guys. I try to do something a bit different with my book review this time. Sorry about the quality. I didn't want to keep holding the camera, so I'm letting my MacBook record it. So there you have it, guys. Go ahead and read this. Just for context sake, some other books I read this year were Don Quixote, The Count of Monte Cristo, and I also read A Tale of Two Cities. I read Ready Player One, and a few others which I am now forgetting. I'm going to list my Goodreads profile. I also read Stephen Fry's Mythos, which was outstanding. I also read Circe, yeah, by Marianne Miller, and some bad books also I read. The Year Is Not Done is June 27.